Hi, welcome back. It's blowing a gale outside at the moment, so it's a bit noisy in here. I actually finally did sort out a bit of a microphone, so I should hopefully improve the sound. The sound it's okay for me when I'm doing the editing on the headset, but it's when I listen to it back, I know it's not great. So hopefully that'll improve that a little bit, especially when it's noisy in here like that. Right, the shed is an absolute mess at the moment. I really need to spend a day just tidying up, but there's only so many days at the moment to do anything. So I will lay out the stuff I've got and go through a little bit of what I've ready to do at the moment. So, get on. Okay, so that didn't go to plan. I decided I couldn't stand the mess anymore, so did a bit of cleaning up. Now I got a few bits and pieces here yesterday. I'll just go through some of what that is. Those I got the other day from Brickworks or somewhere. They're the rear flexi pipes for the rear brakes. Two replacement hard lines. Those are the two that run across the top of the swing arms. So I'll replace those. They are new bolts, nuts and washers for the rear swing arms as well. I just had temporary ones thrown in there. Actuator I didn't do anything with. I don't know. It wasn't an expensive part. I don't even know. Will I bother sending this one back? That was a stupid thing to do. Getting the wrong one of them. But yeah, I might send it back. We'll see. So I'll never use that other one. I must order a new one of them. The swing arm bolts, I don't know. They were expensive enough for what they are. I had intended on just going down and buying some bolts down the engineering place and seeing, but then I just wanted to get them and get it done, so I paid for it. Now, the hydraulic clutch, that is the pipe that goes on to this petrol gearbox. There's a different one on the diesel gearbox, but it's just a plastic slave cylinder. So that end has been cut off, and on the van I have just a pipe. It had a PVC pipe. It was in the first video on this van about that. So what I've done is I have got a little compression fitting to do that. Now, obviously if this was brakes or anything, I wouldn't use a compression fitting, but it is only a hydraulic clutch, and the first one was like that, just a PVC pipe hose clipped onto a hose tail, so this should be better than that anyway. And what I've had them give me is a flexi line, just a normal type brake line, and oh yeah, see what they've done now. So that's an adapter to go from this size up to the size on the van. If I had a flaring tool, I could just flare the end. I must buy one of those. But that should be the stuff to get my clutch connected to the van, so we can get a working clutch. Other than that, loads of fuel line. It's all 8mm fuel line, and that is, I can't remember, it's probably something like 10 square cable, I'm not sure, to run, because I'm moving the battery to the back. This will be the main power supply to the fuse board in the van, so I need to extend that from where the old battery was all the way back to the other battery. The cable for the battery is really long already. And it's a real big gauge to carry the voltage, or carry enough amps, I guess, all the way back to the engine when the battery's up there. So it's pretty damn thick cable. There are some of the other bits of wiring that I need to reuse, mainly for the backlights and a few others to take power to the ECU and stuff like that. So I have to decide now what I'm doing. What I would like to get done in the next couple of days while I have the chance is I would like to sort out the fuel tank, and get that refitted. Get the clutch hooked up. To get the fuel tank refitted though, I do need to probably get stuck in and get this wheel arch sorted out, because underneath is undersealed and all that. I need to underseal up where the tank is, and I need to get this wheel arch in here cleaned out so that this can all go back in. I haven't really touched anything forward of there yet in terms of undersealing and getting underneath cleaned up. It's not bad under there, but like that, all the new steps I've put in should be stone chipped over, and I'll put the wax oil under it, but I want to wax oil up under the tank fairly well as well. So that is where I'm at. I will get something done. Okay, I must admit, it seems like a ridiculously elaborate way to do a simple task. But I think the problem with... Obviously they didn't have a fitting to go from the fitting on this brake hose directly to a compression fitting, which is what I hoped they would have. I didn't go there myself to get this, so they did what I asked. Just, yeah, seems a bit much. But anyway... There we have it. That'll fit on our clutch slave cylinder, flexi pipe, and then that'll connect up to the van. So get that, slide under there and get that on. Okay, so there we have our slave cylinder, and I've just cable tied it up temporarily. And then that joins up here into our original pipe, which is in pretty good condition, but it was where it used to go through that hole there and attached to a flexible pipe which all just broke off the second it was touched. So yeah, that's another little job done. Okay, so we have the obvious little problem now of, because the gearbox is upside down, the slave cylinder is upside down, which means the bleed nipple to bleed the air out of it is on the bottom of the cylinder, not the top. So I can't bleed the system out without my, at very least, the vacuum pump I have, which isn't here, so I have to leave that for now. But in case you don't know where your fluid goes in the T25, it's under the dash panel into the brake fluid reservoir. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to leave that at that. I can get a clutch if I pump the pedal like mad, but I can't get it to it instantly goes back because there's a lot of air in there. So I'll have to mess with that a bit more. Probably have to go get my vacuum pump to sort that out. So I'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so moving on to gearbox breather. So that is the drain plug. It is a strange little tool fitting. There is enough sticking up to get it with a vice grip. This is the one out the gearbox in the van, which I had a bit more trouble getting out. I did heat around it with a gas torch, and it is slightly tapered, so once it came loose it was okay. There is a breather. The old breather is, where is it? Can't see it now that I've leaned it over, but it'll fit a 13mm fuel line. So what you need to do is come up here, come up around the gearbox into this, but this then becomes the breather, and you need a pipe just to carry it off. So yes, you don't, if you turn the gearbox upside down, it's going to spill oil out the old feed, which is what this gearbox is now doing all over the ground there. So Ultimate Engineering will send you a banjo fitting that will do this job for you. I think it's £20, but by the time I pay for postage and turn that into euros, it's probably €40, which I think is worth sorting myself. So that's how it comes out. Slight indent in the base, and this is the other one which I've now drilled, ran through like a 6mm bit and then ran through it with like a 11 or 12 or something. So I've had a quick look around at what I could use as a T-piece, and I have this which was out of, I think it's for the heater pipes on the Cummins. Now you could do this with any little T, or you could probably tap inside of that and put a airline fitting or something in there, and then come up and just have a little plastic T or whatever to run off. So what I'm planning on doing is cutting this off, sticking that inside there, which I think it will once I take off that flared end, and welding it in there. I'll then put in 12mm hose tail there 12mm hose tail there, which will take the pipe from underneath, and I can leave that open as a breather, or probably put a little fitting on there with you could put a little breather filter on it, or just carry it somewhere where it won't get water or dirt going in there. So that's going to be my solution. I'm going to weld these together, and that'll be another little job out of the way. Right, so that is my solution to the breather. Not going to spend ages welding that and everything. It'll do fine. Just threaded in a airline fitting in the end, and there will be a pipe running from this round to the breather on the bottom of the gearbox, and then this one I can just go and buy a hose tail to fit on whatever I want on the other end afterwards. But yeah, that'll do that. So that's the old gearbox breather now piped back up to the piece I just put in. That's 13mm hose. That's too big. I've put it on there, but I'm going to have to try and get some 12mm instead, because it's tightened up, but I mean, if that ever came off you'd lose your gear oil, so I do want to try and get a piece of 12mm for that. Oh, and while I'm here, I'm not sure I actually ever showed what I did with the gearbox linkage. So you can see it there. I've just welded the old shift rod down over the one for the Audi. So the Audi one's going straight onto the gearbox there. And yeah, for the time being I have quite a nice gear change, even though it's in the wrong order. Okay, so this morning I've just been working away on this. It is a bracket to hold the intercooler. It's quite handy having the other gearbox here, because I've been able to work this stuff out just out here, and hopefully the other one is exactly the same. So I'm going to have that bolt in there. This is that'll be the top of the gearbox, and then the plan here is that this then sits on top of there. Probably put some rubber or something under there to protect it, and then I'm going to buy some M6. Well, they're drilled M6 at the moment. I might go for M8 rod and bore them out bigger, and just put two pieces of threaded bar down through there to mount that up, and then I have a pipe going down each side of the gearbox. Now I know they've laid it flat in other conversions. But since I have the standard, the TDI's own manifold and turbo position, I have a lot of stuff going on that side of the engine. So at the moment, the way this would go is I'd have one each side of the gearbox, and I can work that around on the opposite side of the engine round to the turbo, because the turbo is pretty far back in the van. So you can see my inlet. That rubber pipe actually there is just stuck onto the inlet, so the inlet's right round here at the back. So I can make some metal ducting to carry the boost pipe around rather than trying to come back there through with the exhaust and all that stuff in that side. So I'll see what I can do. I did consider running it through that area there between the starter and the mounts and stuff, but I think it would just get very clustered in there fairly quickly. So what I'll do is I'll mount it, get in position, and I will worry about, then I can work out what pipe work I need. I think I just need one elbow or one U-bend to carry it into this from the plastic piping, and I'll work out what I need then on the other side. The ducting for cold air, to get cold air to it, I'll look into a bit more afterwards. Okay, so that is it up there, standing upright, one facing down this side, one facing down the other side of the gearbox. I haven't bolted the bracket on properly or anything. I'll just get a few shorter bolts, and it clears the bulkhead there quite nicely as well. Yeah, I'd have to do some sort of ducting to it, but some sort of scoops here, just on this side, and the other side should carry quite a nice bit of air up there. Okay, that's very awkward, so I'm going to leave that be for now anyway, now that it's kind of in place. Right, so I got some threaded bar. I just peened the top of the rod there, so those ones are fixed, and just threaded on the bottom ones. So that's my intercooler bracket done. I'm just going to bolt it in place now with a couple of M10 bolts. Right, a few days later again, but I just went and got 3 litres of that. That seems to be what's recommended for those gearboxes. 75W90G L5, and I think it takes 2.3 litres of that. I guess whether it takes the same upside down or not is just something that I kind of have to take for granted. One thing I'm not entirely sure about is whether this is suitable to hold oil in when the gearbox is up that way. I'm guessing it is. I haven't seen anybody do anything else with it, but I might just pull this one out of this box, just have a look at what kind of seal it is and what's on there, because I've never removed one of those. I don't know what's on it. It's just held in by this little tab, which can be pushed sideways. It'd be easy enough to make a blank for it if this had to go, but we'll take a look at it. Right, just took that away. That doesn't seem like it wants to go anywhere too easily, so I'm just going to leave it well alone. If it leaks oil, and we'll have to sort it out then. The other thing I'm struggling a bit with is that hose that I ran down onto that. It's easier to look at it on here. The pipe I ran down onto this fitting. Like I said, this one's 12mm, this old breather. It seems to be, it needs a 12mm pipe, but I have a 13mm, and 12mm actually seems surprisingly hard to get. I thought I could just walk in and get it, but I'll probably have to order a piece somewhere. I might go fill it with oil anyway, the other box, and just quickly change the hose afterwards at some point. So that's another thing. Oh, and I just realised I've forgotten the damn vacuum pump again to try and get that clutch blade. Right, figure out what I can do now in the space of a few hours. So the last little while I've just been getting all the proper rear swing arm bolts back in, and I have pulled the front wheels and stuck it up on axle stands. Now, just in case you've forgotten what a rusty pile of crap this van was, there's the redone part which runs up as far as the front cross member, and in here we have just yuck, but broken radius arm, so got to get a pair of radius arms. I wish there was somewhere around here that would surface discs, because, well, I know there's places that would do it, but places that would do it especially, you know, that wouldn't cost a fortune. Because like that, there isn't even a lip worn on those, they're just rusty as hell. Calipers, guess I'll have a look on a rebuild. So they aren't actually sticking or anything. Probably just do a rebuild on them. This side isn't so bad. I need to go around like the back of this stuff here with the underside of the steps where I've done the repairs with seam sealer, which is a tab there still needs cutting off. And yeah, just kind of a general clean up in this side. I'll have a look at the ball joints and stuff, see if they've worn out or not, but it's not overly bad, and I'll replace all the brake lines up there as well. As for the other side is now look at that swing arm. Yeah, so that needs doing. I did know that. It's pretty bad. So buy a replacement swing arm, and in turn new bushings and new top ball joint. There seems to be wear on the inner tie rods. Probably end up doing the steering rack bushings as well. And yeah, same general brake rebuild on this side too. So yeah, I think some of the retainers for the, probably do it getting a few of those retainers for the D-roll bushings on the anti-roll bars. Anti-roll bar bushings, yeah, if they're bad I'll change them, if they're not I'll just change them when they need changing. The radius arms, I'm half expecting to have to do a repair panel once these come out. A little, well, not a repair panel, but a repair section behind those. They might not be gone, but I've seen them go, and if they're not gone on this van, what kind of van are they gone on? So yeah, I'm just going to oil everything up in there really. I don't know how well that top swing arm bolt is going to come out, although it does appear to still have clean enough threads on it. I won't be changing the shocks just yet either. Again, I'll just change them in turn. They probably won't live massively long once it goes back on the road, but you know, just they're not that expensive or anything, but get it up and running, see how they do on a MOT or whatever, and yeah, see how it goes then. Okay, so a little bit of fire and WD-40 and hitting stuff with a lump hammer, and we have the front spindle out. Top ball joint is good, feels nice, and the nut is fine. Track end, had to cut the nut off of that, so need to replace the track end, and there is play on the inner tie rod end, so I don't know if there's any way to actually... Yeah, that's loose either way. The metal pipe going into the caliper, well, I wasn't going to remove them anyway. That metal pipe I thought might have survived, but clearly not. So, yeah, these bushings are probably okay in that as well. So I might not need to rip this side any further back than that, besides taking out that arm. As for the spindle, I'll tear this apart on the bench. So bottom ball joint, the nut was rotten on it, and that feels a bit too slack anyway, really. So I'll change the bottom ball joint. Yeah, take that caliper off and probably give it a rebuild. And I think one of the major brake kits comes with new front wheel bearings as well, so we'll probably do all those in the process. So yeah, we'll make all that shiny and nice. And I guess I'll have to go beat the other side out of it soon. Whether I'll do that right now or not, I don't know. Because that wishbone and everything's going to have to come out. So yeah, same again anyway. Just drive on with it. Okay, that's the second side out. A little easier if anything, actually. The bottom ball joint opens a bit easier on this one. Can't take the spindle away from there just yet because I need to figure out how you disconnect the speedo cable from it. I took the circlip out the end, but whatever retains the cable outer needs taking off, and I just can't be bothered looking at it anymore now. Got the upper wishbone out, which is good because the bolt is in good condition and it opened quite easily, so fairly happy with that. Same problem there on the radius arm mount. I've expected that. I am surprised at how bad the radius arms get. Take a look at the two of them now. So these are offcut, so when you buy a radius arm it comes as a long bar, and this is the threaded end that threads into the wishbones, into the lower wishbone. Get some pretty nice corrosion on there. I mean, that looks like, that looks like a shackle that's come out of the ocean. Anyway, once I saw that, I was even more confident I was doing the second side. It's not as bad, but at the same time that's considerably weaker in there. As for this wishbone, now this is that passenger side wishbone. As you can see, it is pretty rotten. I am happy that the bolt is in good condition. It's another thing I don't have to buy, and even the washers and stuff are all good. And actually, if I can salvage this ball joint out of here, I would reuse it. Not only because it's perfectly good, but it's also probably better quality than any one I can buy at the moment. Apparently they're getting, good ones are getting hard to source, and I don't know, in my L200 I have to change each ball joint every 2 years for the test. I do one year and the opposite side fails the next year. I know our roads are not great, but bit of a nuisance because it's one of the hardest things to change in the Jeep. But anyway, so new wishbone, new bushings to come. I'll see if I can salvage that. I mean, they're only a tenner, 10 or 11 quid or something like that. But, you know, if I can save a better one, I will. And the nuts on them are fine as well. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Right, so that's probably all I'm going to get done with this van really this week. I'm hoping now that from here out I'll be getting a few days a week on it at least. So hopefully we can get somewhere. I do need to order parts for all that front suspension stuff. I have a fairly hefty list of things listed out in a basket online. But yeah, like that, I may as well just get this video wrapped up. I did buy a microphone. I was messing about the sound and stuff yesterday, and the sound I have right now seems pretty good as long as it's quiet. And the other one I think will help a lot when the wind's howling outside and all that stuff. So I will give that a go in the next couple of videos and see how it works. What else? Yeah, yeah, I know. I was hoping to be further along at this point, but yeah, it's just getting to have a bit of a run at it really. I've had lots of bits and pieces of days, and by the time I've come in and kind of wrap my head around anything, I don't particularly want to get stuck into anything too involved, but kind of gathering bits and pieces in the meantime as well. So okay, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button as well if you wouldn't mind, please. So thank you, and I will see you next time. Cheers.